الله. لا إله الصلاة القائمة وبالإسلام
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. عباد الله, very often nowadays we hear from people who have been tricked and misled. They have a statement. They say, how long will you all call to Tawheed? How much do you all call to Tawheed? When will we get past Tawheed? For 10 years, for 15 years, 20 years, and you brothers have still been calling to Tawheed. When will we advance? When will we move past Tawheed? And they use as a proof for their falsehood, their claim. They say, what does Tawheed do for the individual who is in hardship and in difficulty? What does Tawheed do for the poor person and the community? What does Tawheed do to establish safety? They even go as far as to say that the one who is in difficulty and hardship, the hungry, the poor, the impoverished, until we fix and rectify the circumstances that they are in, we shouldn't even call them to Tawheed. We shouldn't call them to Tawheed until we rectify their circumstances in their dunya, because maybe the hardships that they're going through is something that will prevent them from listening to the call. هكذا يقولون. Like this they say. And it's as if they've forgotten the statement of Allah. When Allah said in the Quran, making it completely clear for anyone who would listen, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. And I did not create the jinn or mankind for any other purpose except to worship me. مَا أُرِيدُ مِنْهُم مِّن رِزْقٍ وَمَا أُرِيدُ أَن يُطْعِمُونَ. I do not need any provisions from them, nor do I need them to feed me. إِنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الرَّزَّاقُ ذُو الْقُوَّةِ الْمَتِينَ. Indeed, Allah is the provider, the one who has power and is completely strong. So not only is Tawheed the purpose of our existence, but Tawheed is the cause of our success, the cause of our affluency, the cause of our safety, it is nothing other than Tawheed. And it's important that we understand this, because if we understand that Tawheed is the thing that changes our affairs, and that Tawheed is that what brings us success and affluency and provisions, and that Tawheed is what guarantees our safety, then like this we'll be diligent upon calling to it, exemplifying it, reminding others about it. But if we forget this fundamental issue, فَمَا ظَنُّكُمْ بِنَا وَلَا تَسْأَلُوا عَنْ أَحْوَالِنَا. If we forget this fundamental point, then what do you think our result will be? You don't even have to ask how we'll end up. Indeed, Allah Azza wa Jal, He reminds us often in the Quran that Tawheed is the cause for changing our affairs from bad to better. And that Tawheed is the cause of our provisions in this life. And that Tawheed is the cause of our safety. So why would we call the people who we find in bad situations and in difficulty and in hardship to anything else before we call them to Tawheed? Consider, O slaves of Allah, these statements of Allah. وَكَلِمَاتُ اللَّهِ جَامِعَةٌ. And the statements of Allah are comprehensive. And so it takes you to listen and to pay a close attention. Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, سَوَاءٌ مِّنْكُمْ مَنْ أَصَرَّ الْقَوْلَ وَمَنْ جَهَرَ بِهِ وَمَنْ هُوَ مُسْتَخْفٍ بِاللَّيْلِ وَسَارِبٌ بِالنَّهَارِ له معقبات من بين يديه ومن خلفه يحفظونه من أمر الله إن الله لا يغير ما بقوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم وإذا أراد الله بقوم سوءا فلا مرد له وما لهم من دونه من وال هو الذي يريكم البرق خوفا وطمعا وينشئ السحاب الثقال يسبح الرعد بحمده والملائكة من خفته ويرسل الصواعق فيصيب بها من يشاء وهم يجادلون في الله وهو شديد المحال له دعوة الحق والذين يدعون من دونه لا يستجيبون لهم بشيء إلا كباسط كفيه إلى الماء ليبلغ فاه وما هو ببالغه وما دعاء الكافرين إلا في ضلال ولله يسجد من في السماوات والأرض طوعا وكرها وظلالهم بالغدو والآصال قل من رب السماوات والأرض قل الله قل أفاتخذتم من دونه أولياء لا يملكون لأنفسهم نفعا ولا ضرا قل هل يستوي الأعمى والبصير أم هل تستوي الظلمات والنور أم جعلوا لله شركاء خلقوا كخلقه فتشابه الخلق عليهم قل الله خالق كل شيء وهو الواحد القهار أنزل من السماء ماء فسال أودية بقدرها فاحتمل السيل زبدا رابيا ومما يوقدون عليه في النار ابتغاء حلية أو متاع زبد مثله كذلك يضرب الله الحق والباطل فأما الزبد فيذهب جفاء وأما ما ينفع الناس فيمكث في الأرض كذلك يضرب الله الأمثال. Allah Azza wa Jal, He sets this statement that we might understand how it's the affair of Tawheed that alters our circumstances. Allah Azza wa Jal, He says they are the same with Him, those who conceal their statements and those who are out loud with them, as well as those who are hidden at night and those who go forth during the daytime. Indeed, there are those that protect the individual from in front of him or alternate in coming and going upon that individual to protect him from in front of him and behind him. They protect him with the command of Allah. Indeed, Allah would not change the affair of any people until they change themselves. And when Allah wants bad for a group of people, then there is none who can push it away. And there is no one for them besides Allah to be as a protector. He is the one who shows you the lightning out of fear, for fear and with hope. He produces the clouds to have heaviness of rain. And indeed, the thunder glorifies him with his praise, as do the angels from his fear. And he sends the lightning down, and he attacks or hits with it those whom he wills. And in spite of this, they argue about Allah. And he is the one who is severe in his planning. Indeed, to him is this call, this da'wah, this true invitation. And those who they worship besides him, they cannot respond to them except the way that one who stretches his hands into the water to pick water up and bring it to his mouth, but he can't make it reach to his mouth. And like this is the call or the dua of the kuffar, and is nothing more than misguidance. Indeed, to Allah it prostrates that which is in the skies and that which is in the earth, with willingly or unwillingly, as do their shadows prostrate to him as well in the early mornings and in the evenings. Say he is the Lord of the skies and the earth, and the Lord of, say he is the Lord of the skies and the earth. Say, have you all taken from other than Allah those that can be protectors and helpers who don't possess anything for you of benefit or harm? Are they the same, the ones who have sight as well as those who are blind? Or are they similar, darkness and light? Or have they made partners for Allah that have created the way that they have created, and thus the creation has become confusing to them? Say Allah is the creator of all things, and he is al-Wahid al-Qahhar. He sends down from above water, and it fills up the valleys in its measured amount. And then the streams flow with it, bringing down the foam that comes with the water that brings life and adds nourishment. Just as from the things that they melt in the fire to make jewelry and ornaments, there comes a type of foam or a scum that's left on top of it. And like this, Allah Azza wa Jal sets the example of the truth and falsehood. So as far as that foam that grows on top of that which they melt, then it goes and hardens and becomes nothing of value. But as far as that which, i.e., is brought by the sail, that foam that nourishes the land and benefits the people, then this will remain in the earth. And like this, Allah Azza wa Jal sets his examples. Indeed, these statements, although they seem long, and we encourage you all to review the Quran and understand them. Like this, we understand those who call to Tawheed. As you see how Allah mentioned all throughout those ayat, that call to Tawheed will be that which benefits the people. And it will be that which will remain in the earth. And it will be that which changes the circumstances of the people from once being upon difficulty to becoming that which is upon ease and simplicity. And like this was the dua or the call of the Prophet Nuh alayhi salatu wassalam, how he called his people. As he said in the Quran, فَقُلْتُ اسْتَغْفِرُوا رَبَّكُمْ إِنَّهُ كَانَ غَفَّارًا. And he told them to worship Allah and seek his forgiveness, and how Allah would provide for them if they did so. And likewise, Allah Azza wa Jal, he told us that through Tawheed, it is the cause of our safety. As Allah Azza wa Jal, he said, وَلَنُبَدِّلَنَّهُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ خَوْفِهِمْ أَمْنًا يَعْبُدُونَنِي لَا يُشْرِكُونَ بِي شَيْئًا. And we will change them from after having fear to having safety when they worship me and they don't give me any partners. So like this, we have to understand that the call to Tawheed in all of its types, but most importantly, the worship of Allah alone without any partners, is that which brings us safety, and is that which guarantees our provisions, and is that which will change our situation. So whatever situations we find ourselves in as a community, then the solution to it is Tawheed. So upon us is with Tawheed, that we act by it and call to it, and we be patient upon that, hoping for Allah in his reward, As Allah Azza wa Jal, He said, وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَآمَنُوا بِمَا نُزِّلَ عَلَى مُحَمَّدٍ وَهُوَ الْحَقُّ مِنْ رَبِّهِمْ كَفَّرَ عَنْهُمْ سَيِّئَاتِهِمْ وَأَصْلَحَ بَالَهُمْ. Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, and those who have iman and work righteous actions, and they believe in that which was sent down upon Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that it is the truth from their Lord, Allah will remove from them any of their sins, and He will fix all of their circumstances. أقول ما تسمعون وأستغفر الله العلي العظيم لي ولكم ولسائر المؤمنين من كل ذنب فاستغفروا إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعد نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن اختفى أثره واستنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, O slaves of Allah, upon us is that we remember that Tawheed is the cause and the reason of our salvation. And if the statements of Allah Azza wa Jal weren't clear about that in the Quran, then we find Allah Azza wa Jal often and over mentioning stories in the Quran that remind us of this fact. So those people that make the claim that we should be teaching or calling or inviting people to something before Tawheed because of the poverty that they suffer or the drugs in their community, and that this will be a solution, that we fix their dunya before trying to fix their religion, then you should consider the story of Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam. Allah Azza wa Jal, He mentions about Yusuf in his story in the Quran. As Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, وَدَخَلَ مَعَهُ السِّجْنِ فَتَيَانِ قَالَ أَحَدُهُمَا إِنِّي أَرَانِي أَعْصِرُ خَمْرًا وقال الآخر إني أراني أحمل فوق رأسي خبزا تأكل الطير منه نبئنا بتأويله إنا نراك من المحسنين قال لا يأتيكما طعام ترزقانه إلا نبأتكما بتأويله قبل أن يأتيكما ذلكما مما علمني ربي إني تركت ملة قوم لا يؤمنون بالله وهم بالآخرة هم كافرون واتبعت ملة آبائي إبراهيم وإسحاق ويعقوب وما كان لنا أن نشرك بالله من شيء ذلك من فضل الله علينا وعلى الناس ولكن أكثر الناس لا يشكرون يا صاحب السجن أأرباب متفرقون خير أم الله الواحد القهار ما تعبدون من دونه إلا أسماء سميتموها أنتم وآباؤكم ما أنزل الله بها من سلطان إن الحكم إلا لله أمر أن لا تعبدوا إلا إياه ذلك الدين القيم ولكن أكثر الناس لا يعلمون. Allah Azza wa Jal, He tells us the story of Yusuf. How Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, he entered the jail from no sin that he committed or any fault of his own. And Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, and entered into the prison with him two young men. One of them said, قال أحدهما, one of them said, indeed I see myself pouring drink or alcohol for my Lord, i.e. my king. And the other one said, I see myself carrying bread on top of my head that birds are eating from. And they asked Yusuf, they said, inform us of our dream and its explanation, because we see that you are from the people that do righteousness. Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam, how did he respond to them? And how did he take advantage of their circumstance? These are two individuals in the worst of situations, in jail, worried about their dunya, worried about what's going to happen next, worried about their lives, criminals. Did he remind them about the secondary matters first, about how to fix their livelihood and how to fix the affairs of their dunya so that when they got out, they could be better people? And then after that, he could call them to Tawheed? We see that Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam, he said to them, it will not come to you any food that you can be provided until I inform you that which is the explanation of your dream before that food comes to you. And this is because of what my Lord has taught me. Indeed, I have left the religion of a group of people who do not have faith in Allah, and in the hereafter they are disbelievers. And I have followed the religion of my fathers, Abraham and Ishaq and Yaqub. And it was not for us that we give Allah any partners at all. Indeed, that is the favor of Allah upon us and upon all of mankind. But the majority of mankind aren't appreciative. O my companions here in jail, is it better to have multiple lords scattered about, or Allah, the one who is alone and all-powerful? That which you worship besides him is nothing more than names that you all have given them, you and your fathers. Allah has not sent down any proof for that. Indeed, all decisions are for Allah. He has commanded that only he be worshipped. Indeed, that is the proper religion, but the majority of mankind don't know. And then after that, he explained to them the affairs of their dunya and the affairs of their worldly life, that which they were pressed about and that which they were concerned about. And like this is the example that we should follow. When we're talking to individuals, no matter what situation that they're in, we should take the opportunity to speak to them about Tawheed first and foremost. And then after that, we can discuss with them and talk to them about the things that will rectify their lives and make their situations better. Allah Azza wa Jalla, he says about Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam, وَكَذَلِكَ مَكَّنَّا لِيُوسُفَ فِي الْأَرْضِ يَتَبَوَّأَ مِنْهَا حَيْثُ يَشَاءُ نُصِيبُ بِرَحْمَتِنَا مَنْ نَشَاءُ وَلَا نُضِيعُ أَجْرَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ وَلَا أَجْرُ الْآخِرَةِ خَيْرٌ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَكَانُوا يَتَّقُونَ. Allah says about Yusuf, when he followed this way and he followed this example, and like this we gave establishment to Yusuf in the earth. He could go in and about as he wanted therein, as he felt. Like this we make our mercy reach those whom we will, and we do not waste the reward of those who do righteousness. And the reward in the hereafter is better for those that have iman and those that have piety. So like this is how the invitation should be. And like this is how the caller should be. O slaves of Allah, Allah will not, or should I say no group of people will be in a good situation until they remain upon Tawheed. Because Allah has not removed any group of people from his blessings until they remove themselves from his obedience. So whatever we find ourselves or our societies and our communities in from difficulty and hardship, then have knowledge that this is due to a lack of Tawheed. As Allah Azza wa Jal, he said, ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ لَمْ يَكُنْ مُغَيِّرًا نِعْمَةً أَنْعَمَهَا عَلَى قَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُوا مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ سَمِيعٌ عَلِيمٌ. That is because Allah would not change the blessings that he's shown a people until they change that which they were upon. Indeed, Allah is the one who hears all and is all-knowing. And this blessing that Allah is referring to is the blessing of Tawheed and the blessing of Islam. As Allah Azza wa Jalla, he said, الْيَوْمَ أَكْمَلْتُ لَكُمْ دِينَكُمْ وَأَتْمَمْتُ عَلَيْكُمْ نِعْمَتِي وَرَضِيتُ لَكُمُ الْإِسْلَامَ دِينًا. Today I have completed for you your religion, and I have perfected my favor upon you, and I am pleased with you with Islam as your religion. Indeed, O slaves of Allah, from the favors of Allah upon us in this religion is that we know him with his Tawheed and his names and his attributes, and that we know his messenger and what he has done for us. And for that reason, Allah Azza wa Jalla, he's commanded us that we be abundant in remembering him and in sending salat and salam upon his messenger. As Allah Azza wa Jalla, he said in the Quran, إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَمَلَائِكَتُهُ يُصَلُّونَ عَلَى النَّبِيِّ يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا صَلُّوا عَلَيْهِ وَسَلِّمُوا تَسْلِيمًا. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. وأقم الصلاة.